All right, shalom to the elect. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All right, and I said all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Yahweh Shai, Salaki, Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh is the one of the world ignorantly calls God. And his name means he exists, or he to be, or he is, with Yah meaning he, and Hawa meaning to be or exist. All right, Hawa meaning to be or exist. Okay, and Yahweh is not a so-called white man; he's a so-called black man. And Yahweh Shai, okay, and Bahasham means in the name. Bah means in. Ha means the, and Sham means name. And Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Messiah. All right, Yahweh Shai is the one of the world ignorantly calls Jesus. All right, with Yah meaning he, and Yahweh Shai meaning save or deliver. All right. Yahweh Shai, so Yahweh Shai's name means he is the savior or he is the deliverer. All right, Bahasham once again meaning in the name. Racha Kwadash meaning Holy Spirit. Racha meaning spirit and Kwadash meaning holy. So I said all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right. So in double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, every well, peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. All right. So I'm gonna be going through this lesson is going into the split, all right, the kingdom split, all right, the split of our of our nation, all right, of the nation of, when I say our nation, I'm talking to you so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Latinos, Native American, and Seminole Indians, all right, which really which our nation is the Israelites, okay, we're Yasher Allah, okay, that's the Hebrew way of saying Israel, which Yasher Allah means he is a prince of the power. Yah meaning he, Shar meaning prince, and Allah meaning power. Allah spelled AHLA. All right. And if you haven't seen this sign before, all right, it's your first time seeing this, all right, it's telling you who the real Israelites are today. If you see your father's nationality on this sign, all right, then you're an Israelite, okay, because you are what your father is, according to Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18, okay, So you see your father's nationality on the right side of this sign right here. All right, you match it up. Then you are what the tribe is. Then whatever nationality you are. For example, if your father is a so-called Negro, all right, then you're from the tribe of Judah. Okay, so you can match it up like that. All right. But I want to look further into this because you see, as it says, as it has brackets, all right, around, some tribes, all right. As you hear, you see the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, all right. You know, you see the bracket around them in the middle, and it says Southern Kingdom. And as for the rest of the tribes, it says Northern Kingdom, okay. So I'm gonna go into this history, okay, because we had a split at one point in our nation, okay. The kingdom has split, to where you have a Southern Kingdom and a Northern Kingdom, okay, with the Southern Kingdom being Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and the Northern Kingdom being Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar, okay. Without further ado, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get into the scripture, all right. I'm going to get some different points, all right, Lord willing, okay. I'm going to get different points of, for further edification. So, this is 1 Kings chapter 11, starting at verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women. And by the way, all right, if you don't know, King Solomon was one of Yahushai's past reincarnations. Okay, because reincarnation is a biblical thing. All right, and King Solomon, once again, was one of Yahushai's past reincarnations. Okay, and by the way, Solomon in the Hebrew is Shalamah. Okay, you read the Hebrew from right to left. So these characters here, all right, in Hebrew it's Shalamah. All right, in the Strong's it's H8010. Okay, and it means peace. All right, the name Shalamah or Solomon means peace. Okay, and king in the way you say king in the Hebrew, all right, is Malak, you know. So they were saying, you know, Malak Shalamah, okay. It says, son of David by Bathsheba and third king of Israel, author of Proverbs and Song of Songs, all right. You know, and this is, a son of David, okay. You know. So, First Kings chapter 11, starting at verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And by the way, let me say this too. All right, King Solomon wasn't sinning because he had heathen women. All right, that's not the sin. Okay, you know, that's not the sin, man. All right, as some Israelite camps will tell you. Okay, but you'll see what the sin is. All right, so verse 3: he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Verse 4. Now here's the part, he was sinning. All right, this is the sin. Verse 4, for it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. See? That's the sin. All right? It says, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh, his power. Because, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. And if you go into this Hebrew word for Lord, all right, it says when it got all these, when it has all capital, all right, Hebrew word here is Yahweh. Okay? With that Yah meaning he, just to prove it. Okay? This is Hawa, Strong's H1933. And you see it says to be, become, exist happens. So Yahweh, he, to be, or he exists, or he is. All right? Yahweh, the true name of the Heavenly Father. All right? And that word God there, okay? Because it said Yahweh, his God. I know you heard me say power. All right? But God, okay? Let me get it. Got to go into etymology. All right, and the Hebrew is Allah. All right, and it's strong to H410, and she says God. Okay, so it says God like one, mighty one. All right, let me jump to the point. See, it says strength, power. All right, so power. God means power. All right, so when you hear me say that, now you have the understanding. All right, so it says, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh, his power, as was the heart of David, his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and went not fully after Yahweh, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, from saying that right, the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. All right. So you see the sin, all right, is pretty much because Solomon, fell into that Solomon fell into that idolatry. Okay. Solomon had fell into that the idolatry, man. Okay. So that's why, so that's the sin. That's where he went off. Okay? So now, 1 Kings 11 and verse 9. And Yahweh was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from Yahweh, power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which Yahweh commanded. Wherefore Yahweh said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. All right. Now, rend. Let's look up this word, rend. Okay. Like I said, I would just get other points for for edification, further edification. So the word for ren in the Hebrew is kwarai, and the Strong's is H7167, and it means to tear in pieces, to tear, rend. All right, so to tear. Okay, so the Lord said, "I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant." All right, and thy servant, just jump down. All right, is verse 26. All right, it says, "And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephratite of Zereda, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king." All right, so Jeroboam, all right, he would end up, being king over the kingdom of Israel, okay, or the northern kingdom. All right, he would later on be that, be a king over the northern kingdom, okay, and also it says, "In Jeroboam the son of Nebat, an Ephratite." All right, so here we can see, which tribe would be the head of the northern kingdom, which is the tribe of Ephraim. All right, so going back up, okay. Now we're at verse 12. All right, so it says, "Notwithstanding," so I'm going to read verse 11 again. "Wherefore Yahweh said unto Solomon, For as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant." Verse 12, "Notwithstanding in thy days I will not do it, for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son." Verse 13. All right, so the kingdom wouldn't be split during Solomon's reign. Okay, while Solomon was, reigning, all right, the kingdom wouldn't be split, all right, while he was reigning. But in his son's rulership, while his son was on the throne, all right, then the kingdom, or the nation of Israel will be split. Okay. Verse 13, "Howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen." Okay? And that one tribe is the tribe of Judah. Okay? So, now that we have this, all right, I'm going to go ahead and jump, all right, down to verse 26 again. Okay, once again, you can read the verses I skipped over. All right, I'm not going to read all of, these. I'm going to just jump around. All right, so 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 26, "And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephratite of Zereda, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king." Okay, verse 27, "And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Millo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man, that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph." Verse 29, "And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way. And he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field." Verse 30, "And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces." And we know that word rent means to tear. So Ahijah had, caught this garment and tore it in 12 pieces. All right, which those 12 pieces represent the 12 tribes of Israel. So Ahijah, all right, so now Ahijah, was around Jeroboam, okay? Ahijah ripped up this garment, all right, ripped it into 12 pieces, okay? The prophet Ahijah, he's speaking to Jeroboam, right? Verse 31, "And he said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Yahweh, the power of Israel. Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee." Okay. So here it is being stated that Jeroboam would be set up over the 10 tribes or the northern kingdom. Okay. So you see, Jeroboam, all right, was, he would be later on set up over the northern kingdom. Okay. You know, Jeroboam will be set up over the northern kingdom. All right. Later on from the point we're reading in this chapter. Okay. Verse 32 says, "But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel." All right. So now I'm going to jump down to verse 40. Okay. So it says the death of Solomon. And once again, remember, the Lord said that he wouldn't split the kingdom during or while Solomon was, still in rulership. He would split it during the rulership of Solomon's son. Now I'm about to find out who Solomon's son is. So, 1 Kings chapter 11 started verse 41. It says, "And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon?" Verse 42, "In the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. Verse 43, "And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead." All right. So Solomon had Rehoboam. All right. Rehoboam is Solomon's son. Okay. And after Solomon, Rehoboam reigned on the throne. All right. So during the rulership of Rehoboam, okay, the nation of Israel would be split. All right. So now let's go to the next chapter. 1 Kings chapter 12, starting at verse 1. All right. So it says King Rehoboam acts foolishly, and Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel will come to Shechem to make him king. Verse 2, "And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt," all right, because, matter of fact, Salakia. I know I said I'm going to jump to verse 40, Salakia. 1 Kings 11 and 40, "Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shishak king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon." So Jeroboam fled into Egypt and was there until Solomon had died, right? So now, 1 Kings 12 and 1. "And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel will come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt." Right, we just read that, remember? The verse we just read, it said how he fled into Egypt and was there until the death of Solomon. All right, verse 3 says that they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, "Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee." All right. So, pretty much since King Solomon went into idolatry, he was building those, and how he was building those idols and things. All right. As we read in 1 Kings 11, verses 4 through 8, right? And those things cost. All right. So there's a chance he put more tribute on the tribes, and that was the grievous yoke that's being spoken about here. Okay, that's the grievous yoke. All right. The tribes coming to Rehoboam. All right. Verse 5, it says, "And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. Then come again to me. And the people departed." So he said, go away for 3 days and then come back. All right. That's what Rehoboam told the tribes, right? Verse 6, "And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people?" So Rehoboam asked the old men that stood before Solomon, what should he respond to Jake? Okay. Verse 7, "And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. So Rehoboam, he didn't listen to them, the men that stood before Solomon, you know. Instead, he went and listened to his homeboys. All right, said and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him. That's something our people would do. That's something us so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans would do. You know, consult with your homeboys, your partners. All right, your fellas. All right. Verse 9, and he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? All right, so now, Rehoboam, he went to his, friends and asked him the question. All right. Verse 10, and the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins, which that, pretty much is where it says my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. It's comparing how King Solomon was going hard on his women in a sexual manner, so what was being said was Rehoboam would be like 10 times harder on the tribes than his father Solomon was on his women, Verse 11, it says, and now whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Okay? So that's, So then, okay, verse 12 says, so Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day, right? Because he told the tribes, after they asked him that question, all right, or pretty much, asked him, about that heavy yoke. And let me just see something, because I remember I had a note regarding this lock here. I just want to, get all the meat off the bone. All right, let me just check something. All right, now. Okay. As the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day, right? Because, remember, he sent away, he told the tribes, to go away for 3 days and then come back. He would have an answer for him, pretty much. All right. Verse 13, and the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. All right. So verse 15, wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from Yahweh, that he might perform his saying, which Yahweh spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. All right. So then you see, as the title, the next part says, the kingdom divided. Jeroboam rules Israel. All right. So this is Rehoboam answered the tribes, back in a rough manner, right? Verse 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. All right. So pretty much, the northern kingdom is saying they wouldn't be joined to or submit to the house of David. All right. That's what they're saying right here. Okay. Verse 17, but as for the children of Israel which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Okay. Verse 18, then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute. All right. And all Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So in this verse 18, here Rehoboam sends a tributary to get the northern kingdom in order, but they stoned him. All right. They had stoned him. Okay. Verse 19, so Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. All right, verse 20. It came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of Judah but the tribe of Judah only. All right, so two things. Number one, it says, and it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David but the tribe of Judah only. All right, so one, they made Jeroboam, they made Jeroboam king over the northern kingdom. All right. And then it says, there was none that followed the house of David but the tribe of Judah only. Right. So when the split initially happened, only the tribe of Judah remained loyal to the house of David. All right. At this point. Okay. Verse 21. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. All right. You see, so we got Judah, okay, and then it says, when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin. All right, so Benjamin, stayed with Judah during the split. Okay, this is how Benjamin is a part of the southern kingdom. Okay, you see? So I'm going to keep reading. Matter of fact, now I'm going to jump down to verse 25. All right, so it says, Jeroboam's idolatry. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim. All right, so far, we understand Judah and Benjamin are a part of the southern kingdom, right? So now we got to get what? Levi. Okay, so it says, so 1 Kings 12:25. Then Jeroboam built Shechem and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Penuel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. All right, so Jeroboam knew the kingdom had split, but the tribes still had to go back to Jerusalem, to the temple, for sacrifice. All right, so he was like, so Jeroboam knew if they did that, eventually, their minds would turn back and unite with Judah. All right, so Jeroboam, he wanted to prevent that. All right, verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. All right, so Jeroboam made 2 calves of gold, right, and gave it the credit for, bringing Jake out of Egypt, right, bringing Israel out of Egypt, right. Verse 29, and he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. Verse 30, and this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. Verse 31, and he made, watch this, and he made an house of high places, and priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. You see, so Jeroboam built idols and put anyone as the priest, okay? And this is why Levi didn't stay in the northern kingdom. All right, they went to Judah, where they were still able to do, their office of the priesthood. All right, and this is how Levi is a part of the southern kingdom. Okay, so let's go to 2 Chronicles. There's another precept. 2 Chronicles chapter 11. All right, and I'm gonna jump around real quick. So 2 Chronicles chapter 11 and verse 5, right? It says, and Jeroboam dwelt in Jerusalem and built cities for defense in Judah. All right, so we know it's going into Rehoboam now, right? So bear with me just 1 second. So now, now jump down to verse 12. It says, and in every several city he put shields and spears, and made them exceeding strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. So see, Benjamin is definitely a part of the southern kingdom. Okay. All right, verse 13, and the priests and Levites that were in all Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. Okay? You know? So it says, in the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. You know, they resorted to Rehoboam, okay? So, and the priests were only the sons of Aaron, not the whole tribe of Levi, all right? You know, but let's read verse 14. It says, for the Levites left their suburbs in their possession and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto Yahweh. And he ordained him priests for the high places and for the devils and for the calves which he made. You see? So this is how Levi is a part of the southern kingdom. All right? Because Jeroboam built those 2 calves of gold. All right? And he pretty much put up anyone as priests for it that weren't, you know, the sons of Levi. Okay? So Levi went back to Judah. All right? Or back to Rehoboam. Okay? Levi resorted back to Rehoboam, all right, went back to Judah, so they could, you know, where they can, you know, continue to do their office of the priesthood. Okay, and this is how Levi is a part of the southern kingdom. All right, and this is why, and when you look at the tribe sign, okay, it says, you know, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and in the bracket around it says southern kingdom. All right, so you had the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. You know, they are known. You know, they're known as the Southern Kingdom. Okay, and then the rest of the tribes are the Northern Kingdom. Okay, so you have the split. All right, but also, you know, to keep in mind as well. So we got Levi. You know, went back. You know, to Judah. All right. And Rehoboam. So 2 Chronicles 11 and verse 16, it says, and after them out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek Yahweh, power of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto Yahweh, power of their fathers. All right. So there were also some Israelites of the northern kingdom that didn't want to worship idols like the rest of the northern kingdom in Jeroboam. You know, but they wanted to remain loyal to the Lord. And they came from the northern kingdom to Jerusalem and sacrificed to the Lord. So even though, you know, you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and that split happened, all right, and, you know, and then you had the rest of the kingdom and then you had the rest of the nation Israel, you know, as the northern kingdom, you know. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is even though you had, you know, the split, all right, you know, between the northern and southern kingdom, you had some northern kingdom Israelites, you know, that still wanted to be loyal to the Lord. And they, you know, they came from the northern kingdom to Jerusalem and sacrificed to the Lord. Okay, so this is the history of the split of the nation of Israel, so you know. Okay, this is the split. Okay, so this is, you know, a bit of history on it. All right, so yeah, man, so when you look at this sign now, you have a better understanding, okay, of why it says southern kingdom and northern kingdom. All right, and then once again you see who people are. This is our history, man. You know, it's beautiful history. All right, you know, we now, you know, we can definitely understand, you know, that this is us. All right, because even if you remember, what did Rehoboam? Hey, what did Rehoboam? What's one thing Rehoboam did? He went back to his homeboys. You know, he consulted with his homeboys. That's something our people would do. You know, that just sound like something a so-called black man would do. Ask his homeboys. You know, he wouldn't listen to the older or elderly people. You know, or the old men. He had to listen to his homeboys, right? You know, so this is our history, man. You know about the split. You know, and then also on top of that, you go down to the breakdown of the tribes and stuff. This is our history, man. You know, Yasha Allah, man. Okay, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. All right, I'm going to give all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, every well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Peace, which in Hebrew is Shalom, so Shalom to the elect.